So we're going to start off with just looking at the markets, a little recap of today, and looking at the markets for tomorrow. Today we had a pretty decent day. We started off the day holding some puts from yesterday because we expected the market to sell off kind of into the Fed announcement. We looked for a down day today, possibly a down day tomorrow, and then up at the end of the week. So that first part of the puzzle here is actually playing out, and you know the levels really played out well. I mean, there was some really good levels to watch over the last few days here. The lower trend line bounce, the gap fill here came right to the right line, and the downward trend line there. I mean, it doesn't get any more perfect than that. That was it right there. That was the call. And then we had another gap right down here in that 39.80 level. Give NZ here a lot of credit for calling that level out this morning. Got my attention looking at it, and I said, you know what? There's a beautiful gap down there. So good job. And we hit that target. Now we have a little trend line underneath us, which goes out to the beginning. It's more than a little trend line. It's a huge trend line. It goes out to the lows, October lows, and we're coming to that trend line. We're coming to it fast. So, you know, for all the people who think that, you know, we're out of the woods, we're not. We could break through this. It could cause some people looking at this. It's not an exact trend line, but if we wanted to, we can make it exact. And when I say by that, there's a couple levels that we could do. We could use a closing candlestick, a daily candlestick, or we could use that extension. I want to zoom out here and see if we could actually see that. We're going to go all the way out to October here. And I want to move this yellow screen here. I'm going to move this. This is a beautiful divergence. And you can see I have it at the closing price here, that closing candle. All right, we have it at the closing candle. Then we're going to go a little bit forward here. And then where we're going to put that under. I just, you know what, we could put it over. That looks a little bit interesting because we could put it to these lows here. Move this up a little. And basically that's easily could be put in there. I'm gonna adjust it a bit. It's a real long trend line, so it has to have a, you know, kind of a percentage of area here that we could work with, and we're pretty close on it. I mean, we did come down and it popped, and we're probably right on it, very close to being right on it. Let's see here. Let's edit that out. Let's not make it an extension. It's going to take a little more time than I wanted to spend there manipulating the chart around, but we're very close. We're in this range, so we got to watch that I call a trapdoor trend line. It's you know, a trend line that's right under a major area of support, or you know, in this case, that kind of that gap close, not a major area, but that brings us down to about 39.65, which is about 20 points lower. And that would be perfect for tomorrow. It would also bring us to the lower trend line on the 60-minute time frame. We could bring that, let's bring that down to the 5-minute. You'll see this trend line right here. So one more test of the lower trend line down here. X marks the spot. That'd be a good bounce zone. Yeah, right around that 39.60, 39.65. We'll have a 5-minute setup. We'll have an hourly setup, and the daily hasn't turned over yet, which kind of leads me to believe this might hang in there, and we're going to have to watch that one too. Yeah, yes, I didn't want to go against the trend, but once we hit our target, I had one. So we will go to that live thing. This is right here where we had a quad rotation, right here. Quad rotation. Plus, it was right on our support line, right on closing that gap, and that was a pretty significant bounce going into. That was a nice bounce all the way up to the 200 period moving average, and I kind of wrote it up pretty good. I mean, for what it was. I didn't really bother with the market other than that. Let's just go back. There was a slight divergence here. We're very cautious on all divergences today because of the news factor and the trend factor too. So we didn't want to buy the dips, didn't want to try to fight the tide. Just one area we took. Even these kind of didn't give anything, so I'm not seeing anything worthwhile here. There was 10 o'clock, there was a little bounce. There was a closing price divergence where we look at the closing prices, and they all line up here, even though the stochastics are much higher, especially on that 14.3. And even on this one here, there was kind of a higher low on the 60.10. And I think the rock bottom here pulled that one off too. So that was a nice little pop. And that was there wasn't many buy signals. Excuse me, not many buy signals today. All short signals. So let's go back over here. Go back to this. A little low. I'll make it a little higher. Market's at the lows right now. Looks like. Oh, no, sorry.
Order filled.
Just off the lows here. But we do have actually, if we look at that rock bot here, it is it's tearing it up here. It's tearing it up. The rock bot looking very nice. We can go back and see the nice buy signal there. Right back here, nice buy signal here. This one looks like it chopped up. But this back here, beautiful. A little choppy here. We didn't like that. Going into that's right at the close. Decent bottom here call, and it ran it up. So overall, not bad, even though the trend was against us. I also have this set for shorts, but I didn't see too many short setups today. And it's right now, currently, it is a 5-minute setup also. 5-minute setup on the 5-minute divergence. Go back here. What I also want to do is just take a look at, we looked at the divergences. We see the rock bot helped us out again today a lot. But let's take a look at the quad rotation. Now, there was a quad rotation at the end of the day, or right now, right here there was one. So, I mean, if you're just twiddling your thumbs, and if you are ready to push the button, always push it when you have a quad rotation. Those are the best setups, that and the divergence. So that was a little quad rotation there. Not that you're going to get rich on these, but if you're going to play that game, if you're going to play the penny slots overnight, always take this setup. That's your best. Here's the quad rotation here. And you see how it takes time, and not bad, not enough to get you in. Again, you want to be buying that weakness. You want to be, if you have a shot at this, you're going to be buying the weakness. You're going to buy the pullbacks. Here, nothing yet. This is higher. It has to wait to come back. This was the true one here, because you can see it just came down. It was actually a quite good one. So here we have one, here we had one, here we had one. Decent move higher. I know a couple of them didn't really work out. Were flat lines today. Like right here, this one started. I said, be careful here. We're going to mark it off, but be careful. But then we came out with a little divergence, and a divergence added to the rotation, the quad rotation. That was a little bit better, and that gave you a little pop. And again, these are scalping setups. This is all about the scalp. Not a bad setup there overall. Back here we had a quad rotation right here, and we had some selling coming in here. So there wasn't there. There was one here. See, that was very weak though. Not much of a. I told everyone just to kind of batten down the hatches and circle the wagons on this. They didn't want to take anything on the long side, and it did. Even though there was little bounces, nothing really came of that. This was a nice quad rotation at 10.15 though. Got oversold. That was really the first quad during the open, which was nice. We had one back here, but this one kind of failed, and that was one that I didn't see anything move on it. That was a very rare event where I don't see any upside on that. Right here. And we had sideways, but it was no upside. It wasn't a disaster, but I should have told you. Once you start to see this rotate up, and this is not going anywhere up, it's going down, and this is rotating and getting kind of overbought, that's where you get worried. Now we're waiting on news, and that's probably what was going on here. At 10 o'clock, Fed came out. This is the big drop. That's the big drop, and you can see what happened. The market just got hammered there. From that point on, it was all the way down. Now he's going to release that same speech. It's going to be that same speech he's going to give to the House Committee. And the House Committee is going to ask him questions tomorrow, I believe, at the same time frame. So I don't think we're going to get the big reaction move. But there is some things we have to pay attention to tomorrow. So let's go look at the calendar. Good calendar, the Forex Factory calendar. Hey, good morning. Good evening, Vester. So tomorrow is going to be Wednesday, Wicked Wednesday. You can see the overnight, yellow, not much going on. But then we get up here in the morning. At 8:15, we have the ADP non-farm employment change. So that's a pretty decent one. Again, this is a good site because you can actually click on this and see exactly what this does and estimate change in number of employed people during the previous month, excluding farming history and government. So, I mean, that's a pretty decent number to watch. Estimated change in the number of employed people during the previous month. Tells you what we're expecting, what the previous was. I think the previous was 100. It was very weird. Hold on. Previous was 106,000. They're expecting 197,000. Estimated change in the number of employed people during the previous month. So they're looking for up. Does that mean that it looks like they're looking for a higher number? Now, if we jump to Friday, Friday's the official jobs report. They say sometimes the Wednesday report kind of leads into the Friday. You get a feel for what the Friday is going to be. But if you look at the non-farm employment change here, last month it was 517,000. I mean, that was a massive beat out of nowhere, the weirdest thing that ever happened. It was a huge number. Now they're looking for half of that, basically. More than half. I mean, so these are big numbers. That's on Friday, and again, the one on the Wednesdays, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think, is pretty important. So that's going to be at 8:15. 8:15. So maybe we're going to move, and then we're going to move from Fed Pal. But then we have the Bank of Canada interest rate statement on Bank of Canada. And then Fed Chair is going to, again, testify in front of the House Committee. That's at 10 o'clock. And we also have jobs, the JOLTS job openings. And, you've heard a lot about this one, too. Another big one for the Fed to watch. Number of job openings during the reported month, excluding farming. So job openings. I guess you want to see that to be lower, too. They want that. They want to just... And we had 11 million last month. They're expecting 10 million this month. All right, so some big numbers tomorrow. I think it's going to be a good day to scalp the markets. I think it's going to be a good day for quad rotations. I think it's going to be a choppy day. And we might even, what's that, 11? What is that, Vester? Your calendar. I know it's tomorrow's the Jolts at 10 a.m. Oh, your calendar says 11. They're expecting 11. Well, yeah, 11.01. They'll have different different people have different estimates and stuff. The quad rotation, we're working real nice, even though we're looking back at it here and looking back, but you could tell how well it's working, right? I mean, gives you, if you could hit and run this market, buy into that quad rotation, you're buying into weakness, you're gonna probably do pretty good. Sly, hey Sly. I got your message. I was going to text it back, but I was getting on here because I promised someone I had to help them with their rock bot. So I didn't think we would be able to do that, and I apologize. I didn't text you right back because I was running late. I just got into the office. And I just see your text now. There we go. I was running around. And again, the person who was in here earlier here was asking about helping get DPAP. I don't know if DPAP, if you're out there, he's trying to connect the Rockbot to his trading platform. I told him I'd be here at 6. I got in here a little after 7. Close to 8. Well, thanks, Joshua. The other thing we're looking at here, and again, everyone's watching the markets. Everyone says this is going to be a choppy market. Well, I think that's going to be good. It's going to be good because you saw what we did today. It's good. It's going to be fine for choppy markets. The Rockbot's going to do well, and the tradeometer, not bad today. Even though it was kind of a choppy market, you could see the aggressive downward trend. You got to be careful on your buy side, but your sell sides were almost perfect. This is after hours right now, and this goes around the clock here. So you'd have to actually zoom in here, get a good picture of this. I messed it up here. There we go. So there was a little one there. All right, there you go. Now you could kind of dial it in here. So look at these. You see this? See how well this is? I mean, bottom, big bounce, top, big pullback, quad rotations. This is a kind of a quad rotation setup. And I have a quad rotation bot that I am working on the Rockbot. I have it halfway built. I've been testing it. I could test it right now on this, and it'll backfill. Let me see if I could show you this. It's not perfect because it's triggering a lot on the rock right now. The tradeometer is perfect because it doesn't really give you, once it gets run over, like once it determines the trend is not your friend, it'll lock up and it won't take it until you get a choppy market. So it really does work best on the choppy market. As you can see, look at this. I'm just looking at, and again, look at this. You could actually, if you want to just concentrate on the ES, or you want to just concentrate on the NASDAQ. In this case, I'm going to get rid of the YM because I don't. But tight stops probably use the YM. He would use that one. So you could click that, and the other ones will get bigger. Say if you're not doing the NASDAQ right now, you click on the NASDAQ, and boom, now you have the ES right in front of you, and look at this. I mean, bing, bang, boom, bing, bang.
Order filled.
I mean, these are quad rotations right here, basically. Tradeometer kicks ass, any way you look at it. Unless it's an aggressive, trendy market where there's a lot of news. You just don't want to, you're gonna know that. You don't get into a plane in a storm and put it on autopilot. You want to have a little control. Maybe you do put it on autopilot. Maybe that's why you have autopilot, because it'll fly through a storm. But you know what I'm saying. You don't. Sometimes you got to take control, use your intuition, use your experience, and use the current conditions to adjust your parameters and adjust your trading. A choppy market, this thing rules. And I'll give you an example of what I have. Oh, market getting a little pop here, isn't it? So I want to bring this over here. Let's take a look here. Let me move this over here. I want to show you how far I got on the bot here. That's the rock bot. Let's go to this chart, and then I want to run that script. I want to run my rock bot script on here, and it's going to backfill everything. Let me do that. Move this off here. All right, so I have it here that I'm testing it, and it's called quad rotation right there. So I'm gonna pull it down, and then I just have a basic just identifying it. So we'll put that on the account here, and then we're gonna activate it, and it's gonna be sloppy. It's gonna be sloppy. I know why, because all right, here's a quad rotation. See, that one came in. So that's not, you see, we just talked about that being a quad rotation before. I said, oh, here's a quad rotation, and sure enough, there's my bot. It says quad rotation. Let's see if it picked them up. All right, so I'm going to go back to the full screen where we're looking at this chart. So we had the quad rotation at 9:15. Right here, we marked it off, right? So we just see the bot. The previous quad rotation was right around 4:15. 4:15. All right, so let's go back. Let's go back. Now, I'm not saying this is perfect. This is a work in progress, so. All right, there it is. 4:15. Here's their quad rotation. Now the thing is, I don't have it taking the trade and then stopping and then waiting 10 minutes. I'm going to have it set so it waits for a full rotation and stuff. Right now, it's every time it's trading underneath that, it can trade under it for multiple minutes. It's gonna continue to mark that as a quad rotation as long as that sets up, and it could happen for 3 or more minutes. In some cases they're all under there. You're going to keep on feeling that, but basically the first alert will give you the first alert. And then let's jump back here. Let's jump back. Don't jump back. No, so we had the one at 4:15, and then we have a good one here right at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, you can see a quad rotation. Let's go now back to the rock bot. Nope, let's go to the on-screen bot. And what time was that? That was at just before 3 o'clock. And you can see we had the quad rotation here. And it started getting really, it was a quad rotation from this point on. But overall, again, I just have to adjust some things on it. But it's giving you some good setups, or at least an initial setup. It gives you where those quad rotations are. I'll keep that running tonight just in the background. And I got to add audio alerts to it. I got to add stuff to it. But that's going to be released soon. I would say within the month. I just have to have some time to tweak it. I got the main formula embedded in that, built. I just have to now tweak it, make sure it doesn't take multiple, signals and stuff like that. Let's go back to the full screen here. Actually, I'm not gonna run that. I can't run it, or else it'll be triggering my stuff. Overnight, I'll come back, I'll be broke. Not because it doesn't work. It's just that it's not set up properly. Well, let me disable it. Apply. All right, there we go.
Tradometer ES overbought.
Well, tradometer. We just talking about the tradometer, and there it is again. So a lot of things kind of cool here. A lot of things working out. Let's go out to the tradometer and see what just happened there. All right, so we just had an oversold. Now we just had an overbought on the ES here. You can see it came right in right now. And don't forget the little trick of the trade. You don't have to watch all of them. You can make it bigger. You could cap, you know. This is a really good tool to use. You can now, and if you want them back, you'll just click on them here and they'll come back. There's the YM, and there's the NASDAQ. Boom. On the other side, you have the Russell, crude, and gold. Russell works good. Crude and gold are sometimes a little flaky. Just they don't trade like regular futures. And then click on that again, and it brings you back to the other one. So what I'm going to do that. I'll keep them all up for now. That way we have the alerts. Super tool between the I held back. Should have been recording that section of it. Again, the importance. Again, let me go over it again. The importance of how well the Rockbot and the tradometer are working, but they work in good weather conditions. You know, the markets are choppy. This is going to give you great entries and exits. If there is if there is an aggressive trend, or some kind of markets off tilt, and you could find yourself getting run over depending on how you have the parameters set. So you always set your parameters after you determine what type of market conditions you have. And that comes with time. And then you just, again, use it as an identifying feed along with the Rockbot, combine the two for a super signal, and let it run. And let yourself, trade it. Yeah, that's what I love, the Trader Bob. That is the golden, goose there, when you have the tradometer and the Rockbot hitting at the same time. So I went over, we went over these all, the quad rotations. You can see how well they are working. This is like card counting for me, for whatever card counting is. You bet when the cards are in your favor. There's a lot of kings in the deck, or a lot of face cards. Whatever analogy you want to use, go where the fish are. You go, you bet when you have a good hand. These are the good hands. Quad rotations, excellent hands. Every so often you have a bad beat, but the majority of the time, this is where you're going to make your money. This will keep you from over trading. It'll keep you from, just getting chopped up, revenge trading. If it does, if you'll know if it's not working, if the market's, being affected by something, you'll know right away, and you'll be able to just say, I want to be a little bit more cautious. I'm not going to take the trades. The options, no, I always trade the quad rotations. With majority of the time, I use the quad rotations trade in the futures, but the quad rotations in a bigger, if we analyze the market and we're in a big 60-minute time frame, the quad rotation is a 5-minute, 1-minute bot, basically. It's a faster scalping tool. It doesn't take in consideration the hourly. But if you get a good rotation on the 5, it's usually a good one, because we have the 1 minute, then we have the 3 minute, then we have the 5 minute, then we have, we don't use the 15 as much. So I usually use 1, 3, 5, 60 daily. All right. So the 60 is the key for the options. If we start to get an option, if you're going to hold options, but let me go back and say, you could trade options on the SPY using the rock bot on the quad rotations. Weekly SPY options in the money, just trading them, scalping them. Absolutely, you could do that. Absolutely. But I don't know. These are really shorter term things. If you have a 60-minute time frame, and there was a good example yesterday. We were watching the stock, and the 60 was set up, and we watched a 5-minute divergence, and from that point on it reversed. And it might have been it was probably was it CVS or was one or KC, or McCormick or McKesson. One of those came down into a perfect setup, and it rallied all day. Today was a different story, but I would definitely trade those options on a quad rotation and a 60-minute setup. That's probably going to, because then you're going to have a 1 minute, 5 minute, and 60 minutes. It's going to be a triple time frame setup. So I think tomorrow might be a good day for maybe legging into something option wise. I think it's going to be interesting to see these jobs. The 815 ADP report. I think that's going to be interesting. The JOLT job opening is going to be interesting. I think the market's going to be it's going to be interesting to see what these two reports come out. If they're weak and Fed friendly, we probably will get a reaction, because that's what the Fed keeps on saying, data dependent. So, Fed Powell, he's already moved the market. I don't see him doing anything tomorrow with the market. There's nothing he's going to say new. There's going to be new questions, but he put a pounding on the market today. So I don't think he can come out and be any more hawkish than what he was today. Is the market going to read into that? And we'll see what the job, those two, we have a couple economic data points tomorrow. I think is going to move the market better than the Fed. So if we do have a breakdown, that'd be a little, that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, because we could, if there is a very hot number, jobs number, imagine it's like 500,000 again. This is going to be crazy. We might see this trend line. You might see this trend line break. And this trend line breaks, we're going to be hearing about. A lot of people are going to be coming out of the woodwork calling for a major trend line. I don't know if they're going to recognize this channel line here, which is called a trapdoor trend line right underneath us. But if we break the major trend line, then we're talking 3,900. I think that was our kind of overall pullback. If we did break down the worst case scenario, we get down to this area. I don't think we're going to take out January lows, but I do think we could get down to that lower retracement area, a little lower than the March lows, just a little lower than the March lows. That's interesting. That 3,900 area. So bad numbers, or very hot numbers. I think that's our target. Good numbers, we can probably bounce. Weak numbers, we can probably bounce back up some. I'm skeptical of the daily stochastic. They didn't really turn over today with all the selling pressure. It didn't turn over. It tells me internally, we're not quite bearish yet. Trader Bob, is there? What? Again, it is the time frame. If I believe it's a longer term time frame, if I believe that this is we have a 60-minute time frame, that's when I start to buy my options on the 60-minute, time frame. If I'm looking at the quad rotation, I'm not really thinking about that. I'm thinking more of the futures. But if we're looking at the 60-minute, and all of a sudden I say, all right, we're on lower trend line, we're in the 60, like back here, we're on this area here. And then we were up here. We bought the puts up here, you know, because we're overbought on the 60 up against that. So we bought the puts to hold a few days. We bought
Tradeometer
calls
YM
back here,
overbought.
hold a few days. That's when I really like to take those on those extremes on the 60s. The 60 right now is extreme, but it's embedded to the downside. And again, we have so much news. I mean, tomorrow, so it's kind of a gamble if you buy in before that. If we do get that move down, and we got down to that lower trend line, that we consider something. That we have the CPI coming up also this month, so. $3M had a nice little pullback back here when we sold off pretty hard. And how do you determine bottom? Wasn't a great bottom here. It wasn't a real good divergence, but you know, typically you get a little bounce and then a fast little flush and then it reverses. This little candle right there was actually the divergence candle. But you could see right here, right in this area, we had 3 divergence signals. That was starting to give us the divergence here. Now we don't have any divergence signals here. We had one here on the 14.3 right here. That was the 9.3 here. So the 14.3. I mean, maybe we start to see something. So I'd be watching the 3M down here too for divergence. There's a couple other ones here we've been watching. Disney. Possible diversion. You can see if we could actually take out those lows. Look at these stochastics actually hold it up here. If you want to get into that battle. Let's take a look at Boeing. Oh, I was doing what I was doing before. I was looking up those flatline SPAC plays, trying to find something real cheap here. Let me just look. All right, watching this WEJO Wajo Group, recent SPAC traded under $1. I'll save it on my SPAC watch list. And circle let's circle our research today. So when it pops 200% tomorrow, we could. So that's interesting. The other two I just was going over here. App Harvest. We'll circle this one down here. This is actually kind of an interesting level too on this, but I've seen that one pop before. And then BuzzFeed got the pop. We already traded that one, and this one here. Okay, do I have any others on here? We have. I got some other ones here. We're gonna just. I want to just read into these fast with you. Catapult Holdings. Oh yeah, perfect. Now I'm starting to find them. See how I'm finding these. Huh, that looks good. Momentous. Another one. MOMENTUS Entertainment Group. Momentous. Momentous Inc. I think this is it here. Yes, it is. MNTS. Perfect setup here. Here's the ones that haven't been found yet. A couple SPACs for you. That could easily go to $2 to $3. They're under 74 cents now. Write them down. I'm saving them on my charts, so I'll be able to go. That's really nice. Nautilus Biotech. NAUTILUS ILUS. Bio. Tech Nautilus. Oh yeah. Johnny, you're digging them out today. Good job. This one's about to go. You have a little news on this, it's gone. Copy. Specs. And then we have Better Therapeutics. Better. BETTER. Therapeutics. THER. There we go. Oh, beautiful. $1.14. All these go to the double. These are all doubles down the road. First bit of news. Wow, that's pretty good. So I gave you a bunch right there. Really good. This is what they've been coming for. So these are a couple that we'll just wait for some news on these. I want to make a watch list for them too, right now. All right. There's a property section here. And I can make that a little bit bigger, font size. Now we want some kind of alert. So when this is going to alert us. So how do we do that? Let's see.